Episode 3 of Peacemaker Season 2 is here. After 2 episodes of pure setup, finally, something happens. This episode is probably the best of the bunch so far. I don't dislike the first or second episode, but episode 2 just felt like a copy and paste of episode 1 without the really good cliffhanger. Maybe the rest of the season will help it, but I feel like we could have just combined episode 1 and 2 into one, or at the very least have them release in the same week so we aren't left hanging for an entire week. And this episode throws us right into the thick of it by revealing that Rick Flag and Harcourt were very close friends and on the verge of an actual relationship the day before the events of the Suicide Squad happened. And this is why Harcourt hated Peacemaker so much in Season 1. I have mixed feelings about this. On the one hand, I like that Gunn is attempting to give an actual reason for relationship issues with Peacemaker and Harcourt beyond the basic cliche of, oh no, you killed people and now you're good and I have conflicting feelings about this. I think this could make their dynamic this season very interesting, and it would give a reason for Harcourt to side with Rick Flag Sr. over Peacemaker, since Flag now has multiple forms of leverage to use against her. But on the other hand, I don't feel like Harcourt would have been so lenient on Peacemaker in Season 1 if her relationship with Rick Flag Jr. was a thing from the conception of Season 1. There are multiple throwaway lines that imply Harcourt knows Peacemaker didn't want to kill Rick Flag, and she knows Amanda Waller sacrificed him for her own agenda. But if they were that close, I just feel like there would have been a little more animosity between the two throughout Season 1, because that kind of goes away by episode 5, and we see it start to wear down by episode 3. Anyway, enough about that. This episode is largely Peacemaker exploring Earth 2, which was pretty interesting to see. I like that so far everyone in this world is very different from the people in the main DC universe. Harcourt is super nice. Peacemaker's dad seems to be an actual loving dad, and Rick Flag in this universe is alive and pretty pathetic. I like that Rick Flag is dressed in the same colors that he was in when Peacemaker killed him. It kind of just triggers that memory when Peacemaker meets him for the first time. John Cena does such a great job at showing just how disturbed Christopher Smith is when he gets reminders of all the awful shit he's done. But Peacemaker meets up with Harcourt from Earth 2, and they go on a cute little date. And throughout this bit, and an earlier scene, we learned that Earth 2 Peacemaker is somehow an even bigger douche than the regular Peacemaker from the start of Season 1. We see that this guy has a massive drug and alcohol problem. He frequently vanishes and is borderline emotionally abusive to this Earth's Harcourt, and at some point dumped her because he thought she was critiquing his driving skills. But after they talk, a group of terrorists called the Sons of Liberty take over a DMV and rig it with explosives. We get a really cool action sequence where Peacemaker clears the entire building without any gear by using pencils, an emergency axe, and a printer. He successfully disarms the bomb, and as he leaves the building, Keith blows up the escape helicopter, and they save the day. We then get this great scene of Chris just telling his brother how much he missed him, and gets to hear his older brother say that he loves him. I know I already said it, but John Cena does such a phenomenal job as Peacemaker. Throughout the episode, we get 2 major scenes on Earth 1. One is Harcourt and Adebayo talking about why Harcourt isn't interested in Peacemaker, which isn't super interesting because we've already been shown exactly why in the opening. But the other bit with Economos and Argus is absolutely amazing. Economos gets a call asking why he didn't reveal Peacemaker has a metahuman duck, and I just cracked up. Then when Economos meets up with the group, Fleury tries to grill him by accusing John of taking advantage of his disability and tells John that he almost got titties killed. Tim Meadows is now playing my favorite character in the whole show. The stuff he is doing is absolutely priceless. Vigilante was also hilarious in this episode. The humor must have just grown on me because I thought his bit about owls in episode 1 was so stupid. But then after hearing him off screen, waking up Economos and randomly asking for spider facts, it just got me. This was definitely the strongest episode, but I don't love how slow this season is going. We're already halfway through, and we have no idea what the threat of the season is. I guess it's not that pressing. But in Season 1, we'd gotten hints about a threat named Project Butterfly, and by Episode 3, we knew they were people with enhanced strength and some meta or alien butterfly in their head. And we knew that there were a whole bunch of them all across the planet. Right now, we know Peacemaker has access to another world, and Rick Flag Sr. wants him arrested. There was a pretty interesting theory that this alternate reality is an adaptation of Earth X, which, if you don't know, is basically where the Nazis won World War II in that universe. Usually it's shown to be a lot more drab and dreary, but I guess it could be. But the theory comes about because there is not a single person of color seen throughout the entire episode on Earth 2. It's not something that I noticed. Now, I did notice that Keith crashed into a helicopter and let it crash in the street, and it could have killed a bunch of people, and nobody seemed to care. And the admiration that everyone has for Peacemaker is just so much and over the top that I could totally see it being the top trio, being a racist group that is forcing people to comply with ridiculous rules like flashing them or screaming that they love them. But things just don't add up. If this is an evil world, and the terrorists are actually freedom fighters, then murdering people and wanting to blow up a DMV doesn't make any sense. If this world is evil, killing people doesn't reinforce you're on the right side of things. And destroying a DMV doesn't do shit for anyone. It's a DMV. It's a massive inconvenience for the government at best. I could totally see both outcomes being true. But whatever they do, I'm here for it. I am thoroughly enjoying this season so far and can't wait to see what comes next. Guys, if you made it to the end of the video, you are now obligated to hit the like button and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, I've got reviews for episodes 1 and 2 of this season, as well as a review for The Suicide Squad, and I'll be covering the rest of Peacemaker Season 2 as it comes out. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care.